3 out of 4 dog owners let their pets sleep in the same bed, but new research reveals it could be affecting your health, your sleep, and even your dog's behavior in ways you'd never expect. Tonight, we'll uncover the surprising science behind this nightly habit, the hidden benefits, the real risks, and the one factor most owners overlook. And stay with me until the end, because I'll reveal the 7 secret sleeping positions that can tell you exactly what your dog really thinks about you. From bustling city apartments in New York to quiet countryside homes in Australia, the sight is universal. A dog stretched across the foot of the bed, curled against their owner's legs, or sometimes sprawled right across the pillow, taking up far more space than their size would suggest. For many of us, this ritual isn't just about sleeping. It's a nightly statement of love, trust, and belonging. But it wasn't always like this. Go back just a few decades, and in many households, dogs were strictly outdoor animals. Even in homes where dogs came inside, they were often kept off furniture entirely, and the bedroom was considered an off-limits, human-only sanctuary. Letting a dog into the bed was rare, sometimes even frowned upon as unsanitary or indulgent. So, what changed? The human-dog relationship has evolved dramatically in recent decades. Dogs have moved from being primarily working animals, herding livestock, guarding property, hunting game, to becoming full-fledged members of the family. This cultural shift has blurred the lines between pet and companion, between animal and family. The modern dog's role is less about tasks and more about emotional connection, and nowhere is that shift more obvious than in the bedroom. Part of the appeal is chemical. Sleeping next to your dog triggers the release of oxytocin, the same bonding hormone that floods your brain when you hug a loved one or hold a newborn baby. This chemical doesn't just make you feel good, it lowers stress levels, reduces blood pressure, and promotes feelings of safety and calm. Your heart rate slows, your breathing deepens, and your brain registers the presence of your dog as a cue that you are secure. It's a powerful bond. For people who live alone, the sound of a dog's steady breathing or the warmth of their body can be the difference between a restless night and a peaceful one. For those dealing with anxiety, depression, or PTSD, that steady companionship can be a lifeline, easing nighttime fears and replacing them with comfort. But as comforting as it feels, scientists have discovered there's another side to the story. Using devices called actigraphs, small monitors worn on the wrist to track micro movements during sleep, researchers have found that dogs can subtly influence human rest patterns. A paw twitch here, a repositioning there. These micro movements can cause you to partially wake up without realizing it. You might not remember it in the morning, but your body knows because these tiny interruptions can add up over time. That's the trade-off, the emotional comfort of closeness versus the potential for disrupted sleep. For some, the benefits outweigh the drawbacks. For others, those subtle interruptions are enough to tip the balance toward poorer rest. Interestingly, the phenomenon of human-animal co-sleeping isn't new. Anthropologists have documented it across cultures and centuries. In some rural communities, humans and dogs, along with other animals, shared sleeping quarters for warmth and protection. In colder climates, the combined body heat could mean the difference between survival and frostbite. Dogs, in turn, gained safety from predators and comfort from being near their human companions. The difference today is that for most of us, it's no longer about survival. We have heating, locks, and alarm systems. The decision to share a bed with a dog is almost entirely emotional, and that makes it all the more fascinating to researchers. Why, in an age when it's no longer necessary, do we still crave that nightly closeness? Part of the answer may be found in the dog's own instincts. Dogs are social sleepers by nature. In the wild, canines rest together in close groups, a behavior that fosters warmth, safety, and social cohesion. When your dog curls up next to you, they're not just enjoying comfort, they're tapping into a deep ancestral behavior. To them, you're not just their human, you're their pack. And while some people see their dogs as invading their space, many owners consider the bed to be shared territory. For them, that nighttime companionship is part of the rhythm of life, as automatic as brushing teeth before bed or setting an alarm for the morning. Over the next parts, we'll explore this habit from every angle, how it affects your body and mind while you sleep, the surprising health benefits that go beyond comfort, the real risks, and how to avoid them. The instincts driving your dog's choice to sleep with you or not. And of course, the 7 sleeping positions that reveal what your dog truly feels about you. So before we dive in, think about your own nights. Where is your dog right now? At the foot of the bed, keeping watch, pressed against your back, radiating warmth, or maybe stretched out across their own bed, close enough to hear you breathe. Wherever they are, you and your dog are part of a tradition that spans continents and centuries. Tonight we're going to find out exactly what that tradition means, not just for your comfort, but for your health, your happiness, and your unique bond with your best friend. The moment you drift off to sleep, your body begins a delicate, essential process, one that's as important to your survival as food, water, and air. Your heart rate slows, your breathing deepens, and your brain starts its nightly cycle of repair and reorganization. But when your dog is lying beside you, that process unfolds in ways both fascinating and unexpected. To understand what happens, we need to talk about the 4 main stages of human sleep: light sleep, deep sleep, REM sleep, and the brief waking moments in between. In an ideal night, your body flows smoothly from one stage to the next, giving your brain time to recharge, your muscles time to heal, and your immune system the chance to strengthen itself. Now add a dog into the equation. Dogs have their own sleep cycles, and they're not perfectly synchronized with ours. While humans typically stay in each stage of sleep for several minutes or more, dogs move through their cycles much faster. They can shift from deep sleep to wakefulness in seconds, ready to react to a noise outside or a change in your movement. This means that while you're still sinking into deep sleep, your dog might already be stretching, sighing, or shifting position, and those tiny movements can subtly influence your own sleep rhythm. Researchers have measured this effect using actigraphy, a technique that tracks small movements during the night. Even the slightest motion from your dog, a twitch of the paw, a repositioning of their head, can cause what scientists call microarousals in humans. These are brief awakenings, often lasting only a few seconds, and you won't remember them in the morning. But over time, they can reduce the amount of restorative deep sleep and REM sleep you get. That might sound like a clear reason to banish your dog from the bed, but it's not that simple. For many people, these tiny disturbances are outweighed by the emotional and psychological benefits of having their dog close. Remember that oxytocin surge we talked about earlier? It doesn't just happen when you first cuddle up. It can linger, helping keep stress hormones like cortisol lower through the night. This balance of comfort versus disruption is one of the reasons scientists find co-sleeping so intriguing. The emotional benefits, lower anxiety, a sense of safety, and even lower blood pressure are real, but so are the physical effects on your sleep architecture. For some people, especially light sleepers, the trade-off can be more significant. It's also worth considering how your body responds to the presence of your dog in subtler ways. Your breathing might unconsciously match theirs, creating a calming rhythm. Your skin might register their warmth as reassuring, triggering your body to relax more fully. These small physiological shifts can help explain why some people say they fall asleep faster and feel calmer with their dog nearby, even if their sleep data shows a few more awakenings during the night. There's another layer to this. Your dog's body is reacting to you too. Dogs are highly attuned to the scent, sound, and movement of their humans. They can detect changes in your breathing patterns, your temperature, even your emotional state. This means that your dog might shift position or adjust their own sleep simply because they sense you're moving or dreaming. In a way, the two of you create a shared sleep environment, a quiet dance of adjustments and reactions that plays out through the night. Of course, not all interactions are so peaceful. Some dogs snore loudly, dig at the blankets, or hog more than their fair share of the bed. Others might bark or growl at noises outside, startling you awake. And while most of these interruptions are harmless, they can add up if they happen often. Over weeks or months, chronic sleep disruption can affect mood, concentration, and physical health. That's why some experts recommend setting small boundaries if you choose to let your dog sleep with you. For example, training them to sleep at the foot of the bed rather than by your head can reduce noise and movement. Using a dedicated blanket or space for them can also help minimize disturbances and keep your bedding cleaner. The mental health side of the equation is just as important. Studies have found that people who share their bed with a dog often report feeling less lonely, less stressed, and more satisfied with their sleep, even if the data suggests their sleep is more fragmented. This speaks to the powerful role perception plays in our experience of rest. If you feel safe and loved, your brain may interpret that as better sleep, even if you wake up more often. It's a reminder that sleep isn't just a biological process, it's an emotional one too. The comfort of having your dog nearby can be enough to tip the scales toward a net positive experience, even for those who might technically sleep more soundly alone. In the next part, we'll explore the potential health benefits of sleeping with your dog that go beyond emotional comfort, including some surprising ways it might boost your immune system, improve your heart health, and even strengthen your bond in ways you've never considered. For many people, the decision to let a dog share their bed isn't based on research or medical advice. It's a matter of comfort, love, and routine. Yet science is now catching up with this everyday habit, uncovering a range of measurable health benefits that might make you appreciate your dog's presence at night even more. Some of these benefits are intuitive, but others are surprisingly unexpected. One of the most researched effects is stress reduction. When you rest with your dog close to you, your brain experiences a release of oxytocin, the hormone that fosters bonding and trust, while at the same time reducing cortisol, the body's primary stress hormone. This double action shifts your body into a calmer state, lowering blood pressure, steadying your heart rate, and relaxing your muscles. Over time, consistently triggering this state of relaxation can help buffer you against the damaging effects of chronic stress. And chronic stress is no small issue. It has been linked to everything from cardiovascular disease and weakened immunity to increased inflammation and slower healing. By simply curling up with your dog each night, you may be giving your body a built-in mechanism to wind down from the day's tensions. Imagine it as a gentle, natural therapy session. No appointment, no fee, just a trusted friend beside you. Heart health is another area where researchers are taking note. While owning a dog is generally associated with better cardiovascular outcomes, partly due to increased physical activity, the emotional benefits of close companionship can also play a role. In some studies, dog owners were found to have lower resting heart rates and faster recovery after stress-inducing events. It's not far-fetched to imagine that the reassuring presence of your dog during the most vulnerable hours of the night could contribute to long-term heart health. A third benefit is related to the immune system, and it's one of the most intriguing. Dogs inevitably bring in traces of the outside world, pollen, dust, microbes. For people without severe allergies, this can actually be beneficial. The hygiene hypothesis suggests that low-level exposure to a variety of microorganisms may help train the immune system, making it less likely to overreact to harmless substances. This is especially interesting for children growing up with pets, but adults too can benefit from a more resilient immune response over time. Then there's the profound effect on mental health. People living with depression, anxiety, or PTSD often describe their dog as an emotional anchor. At night, when fears or anxious thoughts can become more intense, the warm, steady presence of a beloved pet can make the difference between tossing and turning, or finally finding rest. In some PTSD therapy programs, trained service dogs sleep beside their owners to help them feel secure and interrupt night terrors, a practice that's changing lives for veterans and trauma survivors. For those living alone, especially seniors, this companionship can also help combat loneliness, which the World Health Organization now recognizes as a significant health risk. Loneliness has been linked to higher rates of dementia, depression, and even early mortality. Knowing that you are not alone in your bed, that there's a heartbeat beside you, a creature who depends on you, can provide comfort and purpose that extends well beyond the bedroom. A less obvious benefit comes from the regulation of routines. Dogs thrive on consistency, and their presence can influence their owners to adopt more regular sleep schedules. Many people report going to bed earlier and waking up at a consistent time because of their pet's habits. This alignment can improve your sleep quality, energy levels, and mood, creating a feedback loop that benefits both you and your dog. We can't overlook the cultural and historical dimension either. In many parts of the world, humans and dogs have shared sleeping spaces for thousands of years. In cold climates, dogs provided warmth. In dangerous regions, they offered protection during vulnerable hours. While today's reasons may be more emotional than survival-based, the deep instinct to share a resting place with a trusted companion remains. Of course, benefits vary from person to person. A light sleeper might be more easily disturbed by a dog's movements or sounds, while a deep sleeper might hardly notice. The key is paying attention to how you feel in the mornings. Do you wake refreshed, in a good mood, and ready for the day? Or do you feel groggy, stiff, and restless? Those answers will guide you toward the setup that's healthiest for you. One useful way to evaluate this is to try alternating nights. A week with your dog in bed, a week with them in their own space. Compare your mood, energy, and focus. Some people discover that even if they sleep slightly better alone, the emotional boost of having their dog beside them outweighs any minor disruptions. Others realize they feel more energized when their dog has its own bed, and they choose to express closeness in other ways during the day. In the next part, we'll explore the flip side, the potential risks of letting your dog sleep in your bed. Knowing these risks doesn't mean you have to give up the habit. It simply equips you to take precautions and make adjustments so you can enjoy the best of both worlds. So far we've looked at the comforting side of sharing your bed with your dog, the emotional warmth, the health benefits, the ancient connection. But just like any habit, it's not without its potential downsides. Knowing the risks doesn't mean you have to give up this ritual. It means you can make informed decisions and take simple steps to protect both your health and your dog's well-being. The first and most obvious concern is allergies. Even if you don't think you're allergic to dogs, you might still be sensitive to the pollen, dust, or other environmental particles they bring in from outside. Every time your dog runs in the yard or walks down the street, they're picking up tiny hitchhikers, bits of grass, spores, and microscopic debris that can transfer to your bedding. If you wake up with a stuffy nose, itchy eyes, or a scratchy throat, your dog's presence in your bed might be a factor. For people with asthma, these particles can be even more problematic, potentially triggering symptoms during the night. Then there's the issue of parasites. Fleas and ticks are the most obvious, but dogs can also carry mites and other pests. While regular veterinary care and preventive treatments greatly reduce this risk, no method is 100% foolproof. It only takes one tick to latch on during a walk and hitch a ride to your bed. The good news is that with monthly preventives and regular grooming, the chance of an infestation drops dramatically. Still, it's worth keeping up with your dog's health checks to ensure your shared sleep space stays parasite-free. Another consideration is zoonotic diseases, illnesses that can pass from animals to humans. The risk for healthy adults is generally low, especially with proper pet care, but it does exist. Bacteria like Salmonella or Campylobacter can be present in a dog's saliva or fur if they've been exposed to contaminated environments. For people with weakened immune systems, such as the elderly, pregnant women, or those undergoing certain medical treatments, this risk is higher. In those cases, it might be safer to keep the dog's bed nearby, rather than in direct contact through the night. We also have to talk about sleep disruption. In part 2, we explored how a dog's movements can cause microarousals, pulling you out of deep sleep without you realizing it. But for some people, the disturbances aren't micro at all. They're full awakenings. A dog that barks at every creak, kicks in their sleep, or demands space can lead to fragmented rest that leaves you groggy and irritable in the morning. Over time, chronic sleep deprivation can affect everything from your memory and mood to your immune function and weight regulation. For light sleepers, even the sound of a dog's breathing or snoring can be enough to cause repeated awakenings. And while some people find those sounds soothing, others experience them as constant interruptions. This is where experimenting with different sleeping arrangements can be valuable. Your dog might be perfectly happy in their own bed at the foot of yours, giving you the comfort of proximity without the constant contact. Then there's the hygiene factor. Dogs don't wear pajamas or take a shower before bed. Their paws touch sidewalks, grass, and sometimes less pleasant surfaces before they curl up next to you. They might roll in the grass, step in mud, or pick up lingering odors from other animals. Even the cleanest dog can carry bacteria and dirt into your sheets. This isn't necessarily dangerous for healthy individuals, but for those with allergies, skin conditions, or weakened immunity, it's worth considering. Washing bedding more frequently, at least once a week, and wiping your dog's paws before bed can go a long way in minimizing the issue. Some risks aren't about you at all. They're about your dog. If your bed is high and your dog is small, elderly, or has joint problems, repeatedly jumping on and off can strain their legs and spine. In such cases, a pet ramp or set of stairs can prevent injuries. For puppies or untrained dogs, sleeping in the bed can also blur boundaries, making house training or behavior management more difficult. Another overlooked concern is relationship dynamics, not between you and your dog, but between you and your human partner. Some couples find that sharing the bed with a dog strengthens their bond, providing a shared source of joy and comfort. Others, however, feel crowded or frustrated, especially if the dog takes up significant space or disrupts intimacy. If you share your bed with a partner, it's important to make sure everyone, including the dog, has enough space to sleep comfortably. It's also worth noting that while many dogs love sleeping with their humans, not all do. Some prefer cooler surfaces, quieter spaces, or a bit more personal territory. Forcing a dog to sleep in your bed when they'd rather be elsewhere can actually cause them stress. If your dog chooses a different spot, don't take it personally. It may just be their way of getting the best night's sleep possible. So how do you balance these risks with the undeniable emotional and health benefits? The answer lies in a few simple precautions. Keep your dog's vaccinations, parasite preventives, and grooming up to date. Use washable bedding and clean it regularly. Pay attention to your own sleep quality and health, and make adjustments if needed. And perhaps most importantly, respect your dog's comfort as much as your own. In the next part, we'll explore why dogs choose to sleep with us in the first place, the instincts, behaviors, and emotional drivers behind this ancient habit. Understanding their motivation can help you make better decisions about your shared sleeping arrangements. Yes, if you've ever wondered why your dog seems determined to claim a spot on your bed, even if they have a perfectly comfortable dog bed of their own, the answer lies deep in canine history and biology. This behavior is more than just a sign of affection. It's a blend of instinct, learned habits, and emotional needs that trace back thousands of years. Long before dogs became our beloved pets, their ancestors were wild animals living in packs. In those packs, sleeping close together wasn't optional. It was essential for survival. Wolves, for example, rest in tight groups to conserve warmth, protect one another from predators, and reinforce social bonds. For a wild animal, sleeping alone was risky. It meant fewer eyes and ears to detect danger and less warmth to survive the night. Even though domestic dogs have evolved alongside humans for tens of thousands of years, many of these instincts remain intact. When your dog curls up next to you, they're tapping into that ancient survival strategy. Except now, you're their pack. You're the source of safety, warmth, and belonging. There's also a security factor at play. Dogs are naturally vigilant, even while sleeping. By positioning themselves near you, they can monitor your movements, listen for unusual sounds, and quickly alert you if something seems off. This is one reason why some dogs choose to sleep facing the bedroom door. They're acting as both companion and guard, even in the safety of your home. Another major reason is temperature regulation. In colder months, your body heat becomes an irresistible source of warmth for your dog. In fact, smaller breeds, short-haired dogs, and puppies often seek extra warmth because they lose body heat faster. On the other hand, in hot weather, some dogs may prefer sleeping a little farther away or at the foot of the bed where it's cooler. The emotional connection can't be overlooked. Dogs are social sleepers by nature, and sleeping together reinforces the bond they share with you. It's a way of expressing trust. After all, sleep is a vulnerable state. When your dog chooses to doze off beside you, they're showing that they feel safe enough to let their guard down. Interestingly, your dog's preferred sleeping position can reveal clues about their feelings toward you. Dogs who sleep with their back pressed against you might be signaling deep trust and affection, while those who choose a spot near your feet could be balancing closeness with a little independence. These patterns aren't random. They're part of a complex language of body positioning that dogs use to communicate comfort, loyalty, and sometimes even protectiveness. It's also worth noting that many dogs are creatures of routine. If you've allowed your dog into your bed since puppyhood, it's likely become a deeply ingrained habit. From their perspective, the bed isn't just a place to sleep. It's part of their territory and part of the nightly rhythm they've learned to expect. For rescue dogs or those with a history of neglect, sleeping with their new owner can carry even more significance. The warmth and steady breathing of a trusted human can be a source of profound comfort, helping them heal from past trauma. In shelters, many dogs struggle to sleep soundly due to noise, unfamiliar smells, and the absence of a safe companion. When they finally find a permanent home, being allowed to sleep beside their person can be the ultimate reassurance that they are safe. However, your dog's desire to sleep with you isn't always purely emotional. In some cases, it can be attention-seeking behavior. Dogs quickly learn what gets them the interaction they crave, and for some, climbing into your bed is a surefire way to get it. If the behavior becomes disruptive, for example, if your dog insists on waking you up for play or food during the night, it may need to be managed with training. Dogs may also choose their sleeping spot based on scent cues. Your bed carries your unique smell, which is comforting to them. The combination of your skin, shampoo, laundry detergent, and even your body temperature creates a sensory environment that signals familiarity and safety. This is why some dogs will happily curl up on your clothes or blankets even when you're not home. In multi-pet households, where the bed is a limited resource, dogs may also see it as a symbol of status. Gaining access to the bed, especially near you, can feel like being in the inner circle of the pack. This doesn't necessarily mean they're being dominant. More often, it reflects how they prioritize proximity to their favorite person. But what happens when your dog doesn't want to sleep in your bed? It's not a sign that they love you any less. Some dogs genuinely prefer their own space, whether it's for comfort, temperature, or simply habit. Large breeds, for instance, may find a human bed too cramped. Older dogs with joint issues might choose a supportive orthopedic bed on the floor. And some dogs just enjoy having a spot to themselves where they can stretch out without bumping into anyone. Understanding your dog's motivations can help you make the right decision for both of you. If they're happiest by your side and it doesn't interfere with your sleep or health, there's no reason not to enjoy the closeness. But if they're restless, overheated, or showing signs of discomfort, giving them their own bed nearby may be the kinder choice. In the next part, we'll look at the situations when your dog might not want to sleep with you, and what those preferences can tell you about their personality, comfort, and overall well-being. Not every dog is eager to leap onto the bed at night, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Just like humans, dogs have individual preferences when it comes to how and where they sleep. Understanding why your dog might choose not to share your bed can help you respect their needs and avoid taking it as a sign of rejection. One of the most common reasons is temperature comfort. Dogs are highly sensitive to changes in temperature, and while your bed might feel cozy to you, it can be uncomfortably warm for them, especially for breeds with thick coats. Imagine wearing a heavy winter jacket to bed every night. For many dogs, that's what it feels like. During the summer months or in warm climates, your dog might prefer a cooler spot on the floor, near a fan, or even by an open window where a breeze comes through. Space and movement can also play a role. Some dogs, particularly larger breeds, simply don't fit comfortably in a human bed. They might feel cramped, unable to stretch out fully without bumping into you or falling off the edge. Even if you have a king-size bed, your sleeping positions and movements might make it harder for your dog to find a comfortable spot. Then there's the matter of surface preference. Dogs, like people, have personal preferences for the type of surface they sleep on. Some prefer the softness of a mattress, while others gravitate toward firmer, cooler, or more supportive options. Orthopedic dog beds, for example, can offer the kind of joint support that a human bed doesn't provide, especially for older dogs or those with arthritis. Noise and disturbance can influence your dog's choice too. While many people find their dog's presence soothing, the reverse isn't always true. Dogs are light sleepers compared to humans, and they might be disturbed by your snoring, shifting positions, or even talking in your sleep. In some cases, your late-night phone scrolling or TV watching can keep them from fully settling down. Health issues can also make your bed less appealing. Dogs with mobility problems, such as hip dysplasia, arthritis, or past injuries, may find jumping up onto the bed uncomfortable or even painful. For smaller breeds or older dogs, the height of the bed can be a challenge in itself, especially if they've had a negative experience like slipping or falling. In these cases, a ramp or set of pet stairs can make all the difference, allowing them the choice without forcing the effort. Some dogs avoid the bed because they've been trained to. In households with clear boundaries, a dog might have learned from puppyhood that the bed is off limits. Over time, that rule becomes their norm, and they feel secure in their own sleeping space. Even if you later invite them up, they might be hesitant, simply because it goes against years of learned behavior. For rescue dogs or those from uncertain backgrounds, the decision can be about trust and adjustment. A dog who is still getting used to their new environment may feel safer sleeping in a spot they can control, such as a corner, crate, or separate bed. With time, as their comfort grows, they might start to seek out your bed, or they might continue to prefer their own place. Interestingly, some dogs make their choice based on pack dynamics. In multi-pet households, the bed can be a contested resource. A more dominant or confident dog might claim the spot beside you, while a more submissive one might opt for a quieter space away from potential conflict. This doesn't mean they're unhappy. It can simply be their way of avoiding tension. It's important to remember that sleeping separately doesn't mean your bond is weaker. Dogs express affection and attachment in countless ways. Through play, following you around the house, greeting you enthusiastically, and seeking your attention during the day. The place they choose to sleep is just one aspect of their comfort and personality. If you'd like your dog to join you in bed, but they seem reluctant, the first step is to rule out any physical discomfort. A vet check can ensure there are no underlying health issues making the bed difficult for them. If the problem is the height, adding pet stairs or a ramp can make access easier. If it's about temperature, try adjusting blankets, offering a cooling mat, or positioning their spot closer to a fan. Sometimes, the solution is as simple as giving them the option without pressure. Place a dog bed or blanket at the foot of your bed so they can decide where to sleep. Over time, many dogs will alternate between their own bed and yours, depending on their needs that night. The key is to respect their choice. In some cases, keeping a dog in their own bed can actually improve sleep quality for both of you. If you're a light sleeper, this arrangement lets you rest without constant movement or noise, while still allowing for morning cuddles and nighttime companionship within arm's reach. What matters most is that your dog feels secure, well rested, and connected to you, whether they spend the night pressed against your side or stretched out across the room. Dogs are adaptable creatures, and their preferences can change with the seasons, their health, and even their mood. One week, they might want to be in your bed every night, and the next they might retreat to a cooler, quieter corner. In the next part, we'll explore one of the most charming aspects of sleeping with your dog, the 7 most common sleeping positions, and what each one reveals about your dog's personality, emotions, and relationship with you. This is where science meets a bit of fun, and you might just recognize your dog in more than one of them. Tersier? Every dog has a favorite sleeping position, and if you pay attention, you'll notice patterns. These positions aren't random. They can tell you a lot about your dog's comfort, trust, and even mood. While dogs may switch positions throughout the night, the way they most often choose to settle can give you valuable insight into how they feel about their surroundings and about you. 1. The foot of the bed watcher. This is one of the most common sleeping spots for dogs that share a bed with their humans. The dog lies near your feet, often stretched out lengthwise, with their head pointed toward the room or the door. This position allows them to keep a comfortable distance while still staying close enough to protect you if needed. It's a throwback to their guarding instincts. By sleeping at the foot of the bed, they can easily spring into action if they hear a noise or sense movement. Dogs who favor this position often have a strong protective streak and like to keep watch even while resting. Arshas? 2. The back-to-back snuggler. Some dogs love to press their back right up against you while they sleep. It's a position of deep trust. In the wild, animals only turn their back on those they trust completely. This posture says, I feel safe enough to be vulnerable. For many dogs, it's also a way to share warmth and maintain contact without being face to face. This position is common in breeds that are naturally affectionate and in dogs that are especially bonded to their owners. 3. The belly up dreamer. This is when a dog lies on their back with their legs spread and their belly exposed. In the canine world, this is a sign of ultimate relaxation and trust, as the belly is one of the most vulnerable areas. Sleeping belly up also helps dogs cool down, since this position exposes areas with less fur and allows heat to escape. You're most likely to see this in warm weather or with dogs that have complete confidence in their environment. 4. The spooning sidekick. Here, your dog curls up beside you, often fitting their body along yours in a curved shape like a spoon. This position maximizes contact, warmth, and reassurance. It's a strong display of affection and a way of saying, I want to be as close to you as possible. Many puppies choose this position, and dogs that maintain it into adulthood are often the ones most attached to their human's emotional state. 5. The pillow partner. Some dogs skip the foot of the bed entirely and head straight for the pillows, lying beside your head or even partially on it. While this can be adorable, it's often a dominance of proximity. Your face carries your strongest scent, and being close to it is both comforting and a claim of closeness. For small dogs, this position may also feel safer, as they're less likely to be bumped or rolled on during the night, but it's not unusual to find larger dogs trying their luck here too. 6. The full body blanket. In this position, your dog drapes themselves directly across you, your chest, your legs, or even your entire body. This is a mix of closeness, possessiveness, and warmth seeking. Some dogs choose it when they're feeling extra affectionate, while others use it as a subtle way of saying, you're mine. While charming, this position can get heavy, especially with big breeds. If it's uncomfortable for you, you can gently encourage them toward a spot beside you instead. 7. The undercover sleeper, certain dogs love to burrow under blankets, often curling up completely out of sight. This instinct may come from their ancestry. Breeds like dachshunds and terriers were bred to dig and tunnel, and the sensation of being covered can be deeply comforting. Sleeping under covers provides warmth and a feeling of security, almost like a den. However, make sure the blankets aren't too heavy and that your dog can easily get fresh air when they want. While these are the 7 most common positions, it's important to remember that dogs are flexible sleepers. They might start the night in one position and shift through several others before morning. The positions can also change based on temperature, mood, or even what's going on in your life. A dog sensing your stress might stick closer than usual, while one who's feeling restless might choose the foot of the bed for more freedom. It's also worth noting that these sleeping positions are part of a silent dialogue between you and your dog. They communicate trust, affection, and the subtle balancing of independence and closeness. Paying attention to them can deepen your understanding of your dog's personality and emotional state. Some owners even keep a sleep journal of their dog's habits, noting any changes. A sudden shift from snuggling close to sleeping far away could mean your dog is too warm, feeling unwell, or simply exploring new comfort zones. Likewise, a dog that starts sleeping with their belly up more often might be signaling increased confidence in their surroundings. Understanding your dog's favorite sleeping positions can also help you accommodate them better. If they like to sleep at your feet, make sure there's enough space for them to stretch without pushing you into an awkward angle. If they're a pillow partner, consider giving them their own cushion nearby. If they're an undercover sleeper, keep a light blanket at the ready for them to burrow under without overheating. In the next part, we'll explore how to make the best decision for both you and your dog, whether that means sharing the bed every night, occasionally, or not at all, and how to create the perfect sleeping setup for maximum comfort and connection. By now, you've seen both sides of the story. The benefits and the risks, the instincts and the preferences, the cozy snuggles and the occasional midnight disruptions. The question remains, should you let your dog sleep in your bed? The truth is, there's no single right answer. What works beautifully for one household may be a disaster for another. The key is to find an arrangement that respects both your needs and your dog's. The first step in deciding is to assess your own health and sleep quality. Ask yourself, do you wake up feeling rested or groggy? Are you experiencing any allergy symptoms? Sneezing, congestion, itchy eyes? That could be linked to sharing a bed. Do you notice any changes in your dog's behavior or comfort? Your answers will form the foundation for your decision. If your sleep quality is consistently good, you have no health issues that could be affected, and your dog seems content, then keeping them in the bed may be perfectly fine. In fact, as we've discussed, it might even be beneficial for your emotional well-being and your bond. But if you often wake during the night, feel unrested, or struggle with allergies, you might need to make adjustments. For some people, the solution isn't to completely ban the dog from the bed, but to modify the sleeping arrangement. This could mean training your dog to sleep at the foot of the bed instead of near your head, giving them their own blanket or pillow, or even using a low bench or pet bed directly beside your mattress. These small changes can preserve closeness while reducing disturbances. For allergy sufferers, barrier methods can make a big difference. Washing bedding weekly, using hypoallergenic mattress covers, and giving your dog a quick wipe down or brushing before bed can help reduce the transfer of allergens. Regular grooming and bathing, with a vet-approved frequency, also go a long way toward keeping your sleep space cleaner. If space is the main issue, especially for those with large breeds, consider whether your bed size is adequate for both of you to sleep comfortably. A dog that's constantly pushing you toward the edge can impact your sleep posture and even cause back or neck discomfort. If upgrading your bed isn't possible, training your dog to use their own space can be a win-win. For people with immune concerns, such as those who are pregnant, elderly, or have chronic illnesses, it's worth weighing the emotional benefits against the medical risks. In some cases, the safest choice might be to let your dog sleep nearby, but not in direct contact. A cozy dog bed at your bedside can still offer the reassurance of proximity without as much exposure. It's also important to consider your dog's perspective. Are they truly comfortable sleeping with you, or do they sometimes choose other spots? Do they seem too warm, restless, or crowded? Respecting their comfort is just as important as your own. Dogs who are given the freedom to choose often develop a natural rhythm. Some nights they'll be in the bed, others they'll prefer their own space. Behavior and training also factor in. If your dog is still a puppy or is prone to destructive behavior, jumping into your bed at night might complicate house training or encourage habits you don't want long term. Setting boundaries early can prevent confusion later. For older, well-trained dogs, the flexibility to share the bed can be more easily managed. Some households operate on a seasonal system. In the winter, when the nights are colder, the dog is welcomed into the bed for warmth and comfort. In the summer, they're encouraged to use a cooler, separate sleeping spot. This approach allows you to adapt to changing comfort needs without creating a hard, permanent rule. There's also the emotional compromise: cuddle time before sleep. Many owners invite their dogs into the bed for a few minutes of affection at the end of the day, then guide them to their own bed when it's time to actually sleep. This preserves the bonding ritual while keeping your sleep space separate. Ultimately, the best arrangement is the one that leaves both you and your dog waking up refreshed and happy. If that's together in the same bed, wonderful. If it's apart but within sight, that's equally valid. Dogs don't measure love by where they sleep. They measure it by the safety, trust, and care they feel every day. Whatever you decide, make the space, whether shared or separate, as comfortable as possible for your dog. Ensure their bed is appropriately sized, supportive, and located somewhere they feel secure. Keep the sleeping area clean, quiet, and free from drafts. And remember, routines matter. Dogs thrive when they know what to expect, so once you establish a sleep arrangement, try to stick with it. In the next part, we'll wrap up by looking at how to maintain your bond and ensure that bedtime, whether shared or separate, remains a positive, loving experience for both you and your dog. We'll also address a few common myths and answer some lingering questions dog owners often have about co-sleeping. Sleeping with your dog is one of those topics that seems to divide people. Some can't imagine falling asleep without their furry companion curled beside them, while others think the idea is messy, unhygienic, or even harmful. In reality, the truth sits somewhere in the middle, and it often depends on your lifestyle, your health, and your dog's personality. To wrap things up, let's look at some of the most common myths about co-sleeping with dogs and see what science, experience, and a bit of common sense have to say. Myth 1. Sleeping with your dog will always make you sick. The truth: for healthy adults with well-cared-for pets, the risk of catching an illness from your dog is very low. Most zoonotic diseases, those that can pass from animals to humans, are rare, especially in dogs that receive regular veterinary care, vaccinations, and parasite prevention. While it's wise to take precautions, such as regular grooming and keeping bedding clean, sharing your bed doesn't automatically mean you're putting your health in danger. That said, for people with compromised immune systems, certain medical conditions, or severe allergies, the risk is higher, and alternative sleeping arrangements might be safer. Myth 2. Letting your dog sleep in your bed will ruin their training. The truth: sleeping in your bed isn't inherently a training problem. Dogs are fully capable of understanding boundaries if you're consistent with them. The key is to decide early on what the rules are. For example, if your dog is allowed up only when invited, or if they must stay at the foot of the bed. Problems usually arise when the rules keep changing, leaving the dog confused. If you have a puppy still in house training, it might be better to wait until they're reliable before letting them share the bed. Once the basics are in place, co-sleeping won't undo their training. Myth 3. Dogs that sleep in your bed will become dominant. The truth: modern canine behavior science has largely moved away from outdated dominance theories when it comes to pets in the home. Sleeping in your bed doesn't mean your dog is trying to take control of the household. It usually means they want comfort, warmth, and closeness. A dog's willingness to share space is more about their bond with you than about any imagined hierarchy. Myth 4. Co-sleeping is bad for everyone's sleep quality. The truth: for some people, yes, but for many, no. As we've discussed, dogs can cause micro-awakenings or even major sleep disturbances if they're restless, noisy, or take up too much space. But plenty of owners report falling asleep faster and feeling more secure with their dog nearby. Sleep quality is deeply personal, and the only way to know for sure is to pay attention to how you feel in the morning after different arrangements. Myth 5. If your dog doesn't sleep in your bed, your bond will suffer. The truth: dogs bond with us through many different activities: play, walks, training, affection, shared routines. While sleeping together can reinforce that bond, it's not the only or even the most important factor. A dog that sleeps in their own bed can be just as loving and connected as one that sleeps beside you. Beyond the myths, there are a few common questions dog owners ask. Is it okay to let my dog under the covers? Generally, yes, as long as your dog can easily move and get fresh air, and the blankets aren't too heavy. For short-nosed breeds or dogs with respiratory issues, avoid situations where they could overheat or struggle to breathe. Will my dog get too attached if we sleep together every night? Sleeping together can strengthen your dog's sense of security, but it doesn't necessarily create unhealthy dependence. Issues arise only if your dog becomes anxious or distressed when separated. In those cases, practicing short periods of sleeping apart can help them adapt. What if my partner doesn't want the dog in bed? This is a conversation that needs to balance everyone's comfort, yours, your partner's, and your dog's. Compromise options include a dog bed beside the bed, allowing the dog in for part of the night, or rotating arrangements. At the heart of all this is the relationship you share with your dog. Dogs are not just pets, they're companions, family members, emotional anchors. Whether you sleep together or apart, what matters most is that both of you feel safe, comfortable, and connected. It's also worth remembering that your dog's preferences can change over time. A young dog might want to be right next to you, while an older dog might seek a quieter space. Seasonal changes, health issues, or even life events can shift your routines. Being flexible and responsive to those changes keeps your relationship strong. Ultimately, sleeping with your dog is neither inherently good nor inherently bad. It's a choice, one that works beautifully for some and less so for others. The best arrangement is the one that allows everyone to wake up rested and ready for the day ahead. In our final part, we'll look at how to keep your bedtime routine, whether shared or separate, a consistently positive experience. And I'll give you a few practical tips to make sure the comfort, safety, and love you share with your dog extend into every night you spend together. We've explored every corner of this topic, from the science of sleep cycles to the warmth of shared comfort, from the health benefits to the potential risks. By now, you know that the choice to let your dog sleep in your bed is deeply personal, shaped by your lifestyle, health, and your dog's unique personality. The final step is making sure that whatever arrangement you choose, it's a positive experience for both of you. The key is intentionality. Instead of letting bedtime arrangements happen by chance, decide on a routine that works for everyone. Dogs thrive on consistency. If they know exactly what to expect each night, they'll relax more quickly and settle into sleep with less fuss. Whether that means hopping into your bed or heading to their own, a predictable routine signals safety and stability. If you decide to share your bed, set clear boundaries from the start. This might mean designating a specific area for your dog, such as at the foot of the bed or on a particular blanket, so you're not fighting for space at 2 a.m. It also means teaching a reliable off or bed command, so you can ask your dog to move when necessary without stress or confusion. Pay attention to hygiene and comfort. Wash your bedding regularly. Brush your dog before bed to reduce shedding and dirt, and keep up with grooming and flea tick prevention. A quick paw wipe before bed can make a big difference in keeping your sheets cleaner. Remember, a clean dog is a more pleasant bedfellow, for both your comfort and your health. If you or your dog ever experience discomfort, adapt. This could mean shifting your dog to a separate bed nearby, or making seasonal adjustments. More cuddles in winter, more space in summer. Many owners find that a hybrid approach works best. Some nights together, some nights apart, depending on mood, weather, and energy levels. For those who prefer separate sleeping spaces, make your dog's area inviting. Choose a bed that's the right size and firmness for their needs. Place it in a quiet, draft-free location, and consider adding an item that smells like you, such as a worn t-shirt, to provide comfort. Some dogs prefer elevated beds, others like memory foam. Observe their habits and tailor their setup accordingly. Regardless of sleeping arrangements, end the day with connection. A short play session, gentle brushing, or a few minutes of quiet petting before bed can strengthen your bond and signal to your dog that it's time to wind down. These rituals help bridge the gap between active daytime and restful nighttime. It's also wise to monitor changes over time. If your dog suddenly starts avoiding the bed, seems restless at night, or changes their preferred sleeping position, it could be a sign of discomfort, anxiety, or an underlying health issue. Don't ignore these changes. Check in with your vet if something feels off. For multi-pet households, be mindful of bedroom dynamics. If one pet is bullying another away from the bed, or you notice tension, it might be best to create separate sleeping spaces to maintain peace. Remember, the goal is for everyone, human and animal. to feel secure. And finally, keep in mind that bedtime is more than just about sleep. It's about ending the day with trust, love, and a sense of belonging. Dogs don't measure their worth by where they sleep. They measure it by how they're treated and how safe they feel in your presence. If you approach bedtime with care and respect, you'll strengthen your relationship no matter what arrangement you choose. So tonight, as you get ready for bed, take a moment to notice your dog's anticipation, the way they watch you turn off the lights, adjust the blankets, or head toward their bed. Whether they join you under the covers or curl up in their own space across the room, they're choosing to rest in the safety of your home, surrounded by your scent, comforted by your presence. That's the real magic. And tomorrow, when you wake up and see those familiar eyes, tail wagging, ready to start the day, you'll know that however you spent the night, you shared something priceless. Another day of trust, companionship, and unconditional love.